This is the renewed 2021 Range Rover Velar, and this is the P400e version. The E means it is a plug-in hybrid, and 400 means, well, that it has 400 horsepower. So it's definitely not a boring plug-in hybrid, and in this video we're going to take a look at everything that's new on this renewed 2021 Range Rover Velar, and we're going to take it for a drive. Now everybody knows that you don't necessarily buy a Range Rover because you want to go off-road. Now of course you can still do that, but most owners decide to stay on the roads. Now because of that, in 2011 Range Rover decided to introduce the Evoque, a small compact SUV that was all about styling and design and not so much about going off-road. And then of course there's the gigantic Range Rover Sport, which again is more about being on the road than off the road. But between the compact Evoque and the big Range Rover Sport, there's a huge gap. So in 2017 Range Rover decided to introduce this mid-size SUV, this Range Rover Velar. And for the 2021 model year, this Velar has received some updates. And you now can also get it as a pretty powerful plug-in hybrid. Which means that under the hood of this P400e, you get a 2-liter 4-cylinder that produces 300 horsepower. And in the back you get an electric motor, giving this car a total power output of 404 horsepower and 640 Nm of torque, which is pretty impressive. Which means that this pretty big SUV will do 0 to 100 km an hour in only 5.4 seconds. In the back lays a 17 kWh battery pack, and this car will do about 53 kilometers of pure electric driving before the gas engine kicks in. Now that's on paper. I managed to get up to 48 kilometers, which I thought was pretty impressive. I do have to say we got good weather conditions right now. The sun is out, spring has started. In colder climates or in the winter it will be a bit less than that. Now on this side of the car, on the left side, you can find the charge port door. On the other side of the car you can find the fuel door, of course. What is pretty special about this plug-in hybrid, that you can fast charge it. Not a lot of plug-in hybrids can do that, however this one can. You can charge it up to 32 kilowatts, meaning that the battery will be up to 80% in only half an hour. Of course you can also charge it at home or at a public charger, and then it will take at least 1.5 hours. Now if you're planning to buy a new SUV and you're considering a plug-in hybrid, then do check out my video on the renewed 2021 Jaguar F-Pace. That car shares a lot of components with this Velar, and it is also available as a P400e plug-in hybrid. It also has basically the same starting price, and I will leave a link to that video in the description box below. I'll talk a bit more about the plug-in hybrid powertrain in a minute when I take it out for a drive. But what has changed on the outside of the renewed Range Rover Velar? Well, not much really. The car didn't get a facelift, and this car really didn't need a facelift. It still looks very good, and don't take it just from me. This car has won all kinds of design awards, like Car Design of the Year. And even if you don't like big SUVs, like myself, there's still a very good chance that you do like the design of the Range Rover Velar. Now this particular version that I got right here has the black exterior package, which makes this Velar look a bit more mean. As you can see, Range Rover is all blacked out. Also the grille is completely black, and down below the air vents, these are completely blacked out. Now on this plug-in hybrid version these are not functional. The 4-cylinder doesn't need that much cooling. Also the entire splitter is blacked out with this black exterior package. Now you get more black accents on the hood. You get these fake air inlets, but they do look really good when they're completely black. Now on the side you get this decorative strip that's usually from aluminium. Now it's completely black. You also get side black mirror caps, and the entire door sills are also black. Now on the bottom of the car runs a black thin line, and on the very bottom there's a large black strip. There's also a small R-Dynamic logo here, because this is the version that we've got here. The door pillars are also black, and so is the D-pillar, so now it looks like you got a floating roof. Another detail that I really like is that from the side you can clearly see how the front and the rear lights look almost the same. Only the colors are different, but as you can see their shape is almost identical. Another nice design element on the Velar are these door handles. These flush door handles, they come out very stylishly when you press the key or when you briefly press on the door handle. Then let's have a look in the interior of the renewed Velar. In this interior you get more changes than on the exterior. For instance, you get this new steering wheel. This is a very stylish steering wheel. The previous steering wheel in the previous model was a bit more robust. It felt more at home in like a Land Rover Defender. As you can see, we got these black keys here. You can't not see anything on them right now, but if I'll start the car, if I press the start button, turn on the contacts, there you can see they will light up. Again, looking very stylishly. On the left side you get your audio controls, and on the right side you got all your driving assistance systems, like the lane assist and also your limiter and cruise control. In the middle you got the Range Rover spelled out, of course, and you get this airbag cover, which is also covered in leather, and you got this nice stitching going on. You still got 3 screens in the interior, 1, 2, 3. You get one behind the steering wheel. This is your fully digital gauge cluster. On this P400e you can also see how much battery you got left. On the right side you can see your battery meter, and in the middle you can see your actual range. So at the moment I still got 30 kilometers left, which roughly translates to 3/4 of the battery meter. Now in the center you still got the 2 screens on top of each other. The top screen you use for all the infotainment stuff, like your music, navigation and all kinds of menus that you got there. On the screen below you got your climate controls. You got these 2 knobs that have multiple functions. If I press them, I can turn on the heated seats. You got also some driving settings here. You can change your drive modes. If you go to auto, you can turn the car on eco or let's say sand. On this plug-in hybrid version, you got also a hybrid mode. Then the car will use the gas engine and the electric motor. But if you press EV, you will only use the electric motor. Now all the screens have still the same diameter, but the resolution has gone up, and you now also get the new PV Pro infotainment system on this top screen. That's a pretty good system. It's fairly fast, and you usually only need 2 taps to go where you want to be. Now the Velar is now also always connected to the internet thanks to a SIM card that is built into this car, so you don't have to go to the dealer if you want to get updates. You just get updates over the air. And because this car is always connected to the internet, you can also see all kinds of information about the car on an app on your smartphone. You can even turn on the air conditioning and the heater remotely on your smartphone, and I suggest you do that when the battery is charging, because that will save a lot of energy in your battery and the battery will be fully charged when you leave. What is also new in the renewed Velar is this new gear selector for the automatic transmission. In the previous model you got a round knob, and now you got this new gear selector, which looks a lot better. Alright, driving the P400e Range Rover Velar. Now what is mostly new on this car is that plug-in hybrid powertrain, which means that you can drive fully electric with the Range Rover Velar as long as you got enough battery. Now when you're driving pure electric, you're only using the electric motor, of course, which produces 143 horsepower, which doesn't sound that much in such a big SUV. However, I would say it is enough. Of course, you got instant torque from the electric motor, so it is pretty zippy, especially around town or for short commutes. It is also very good. What is also pretty good about it, that it is of course completely silent. It is very smooth. You get linear acceleration, so it is pretty good to have this very comfortable Range Rover be even more comfortable because of the electric motor. And if you want to go a bit faster, you just press the accelerator a bit deeper, and then automatically the gas engine will kick in. And I have to say, I have been driving this car for over a week now, and fuel consumption is really good, which is usually not the case with big Range Rovers, especially if they have more than 400 horsepower like this car. Now do keep in mind, if you want to get good gas mileage on this car, you do have to charge it every single day, as long as you're driving it every day. And it also means that you do have to get a charger at home, otherwise you will never be able to charge it every day. And if you don't get a charge at home, and if you don't charge it every day, you will mostly use the gas engine, which is the same gas engine that you can get in the Jaguar F-Type. It's a pretty powerful gas engine, 300 horsepower, which means that if you run out of battery with this P400e, you still got plenty of power left just because of that gas engine. Now besides good gas mileage, there's another big advantage to this car, especially here in the Netherlands. We got a tax system that is based on CO2 emissions, and this car only emits 50 grams of CO2 per kilometer, which means that you can get some tax deductibles on this car. And not just in the Netherlands, there are plenty of countries in Europe that offer tax incentives for plug-in hybrids like this, meaning that this car will start in the Netherlands from 76,000 euros. Now in other countries in Europe, this particular P400e plug-in hybrid will start around 70,000 euros. And if you get the battery charged up, you got 400 horsepower, which is plenty, which means this car is pretty fast. It will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in only 5.4 seconds, which is pretty good for such a big SUV. And it is pretty fun to drive this Velar. The Velar was always a fun car to drive. It is really a road biased car. This is definitely not a Land Rover. This is really a Range Rover. The car is pretty nimble considering it's such a big and high SUV, which means that this plug-in hybrid really hasn't changed that much compared to the regular Velar, which was already a pretty fun car to drive. Now that's it for this video. If you liked it, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you at the next video.